Folks, hello and welcome to Tavern Chat. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. So, I have a page up from MenWorld. The article, listen, there's a lot of responses to this article. There's a lot of conversation on this article. It's interesting, but we're going to play a little bit deeper. We're going to go on our own rabbit hole, so to speak. So, what does the article say? Dan Rawson named new head of D&D. Hasbro's announced a former Microsoft Digital Commerce. There's something missing from there. Is the new senior vice president in charge of Dungeons and Dragons. Dan Rawson was COO of Microsoft Dynamics 365. I would assume Microsoft Dynamics 365 was the one that gave you the subscription service of Microsoft Office 365. Makes sense, right? So why is this important? Hasbro also hired Cynthia Williams earlier this year, and she came from Microsoft also. Why are we putting in people from Microsoft to lead Wizards of the Coast? Right? It's not a digital company. It is now. Of Rawson, she said, we couldn't be bringing on Dan at a better time with the acquisition of D&D Beyond earlier this year. The digital capabilities and opportunities for Dungeons & Dragons are accelerating faster than ever. I am excited to partner with Dan to explore the global potential of the brand while maintaining Hasbro's core value as a player-first company. All right. Player-first company. Gamer-first company. Digital gamer first. Now, Rawson himself says that leading D&D is the realization of a childhood dream. I'm excited to work with Cynthia once again, and I'm thrilled to work with a talented team to expand the global reach of D&D, a game I grew up with and now play with my own kids. And this is interesting. Ray Wininger, who has been running D&D for the last couple of years, has removed mention of Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro from his Twitter bio. So I guess that's sayonara. I mean, they're doing a lot of changes, right? They're doing a lot of leadership changes. Chris Cox, who used to be president of Wizards, when he went to Hasbro, right? Now he's chief executive of Hasbro. What? I'm not even sure which one it is. Let me see. Hold on. I got two other tabs up here. He's the new chief executive officer, Chris Cox. Yes, he's running the shit. He had come from Wizards of the Coast. So all these pieces are falling into place. What was the first piece that fell into place to say that they want to go digital, heavy digital? Why is there money in digital? Well, let's look. D&D Beyond comes under the wing of Wizards of the Coast in a $146 million deal. That was earlier this year. Okay. With that $146.3 million cash deal, it's in here somewhere, they gained 10 million users. Then, from what I can read from this, the app, which offers paid subscription tiers alongside basic free access, already boasts more than 10 million users. All your 10 million users are not subscribers. All right. But for the cost of about $16 a head, they of the users, and that's, think about it that way. For $16 a head, they got sole control over D&D Beyond. Now, that actually doesn't sound so bad when you realize that they expect to double those numbers of D&D Beyond usage. And I'm apologizing. I'll put links to all these. It's a little small to read. I'm going to try to read the highlights. But this is the Hasbro official press release, news release from their quarterly report. And there are some interesting things within here. So, Hasbro a global branded entertainment leader, today hosted its first Investor Day under the leadership of new Chief Executive Officer Chris Cox. Senior leaders from across the business unveiled Hasbro's new go-forward plan, the result of a 9-month strategic review that focused on creating near-term, meaningful change that's expected to deliver positive financial impact as early as the fourth quarter of this year. Throughout this review process, the company sought to identify opportunities to focus and scale the business, enhance operational excellence, and drive accelerated growth and profit. I talk about some savings going on, yada yada yada. This is where it gets interesting. These are the highlights. Now you can pull these highlights apart. You can put them together. You can mix them up. It's a little bit of a jigsaw puzzle. Nothing fits perfectly, but you can infer some stuff from here. Direct to consumer and digital will be a major focus for the company. Okay. It's a company that publishes board games, right? And like Transformers and shit, right? I mean, no. Digital and direct to consumer. Direct to consumer means what I mentioned earlier when they announced the one D&D to rule them all and in the darkness bind them. I had mentioned that they were doing these direct to consumer bundles with D&D Beyond content and their print content, cutting out the middleman, cutting out the wholesaler, all right? Keeping more of the profit for themselves. Well, the company's direct platform, anchored by Hasbro Pulse and D&D Beyond. Now, Hasbro Pulse is where you can, I believe, you can order stuff, right? Hasbro Pulse is where you can, hey, look at those great Marvel Extended Universe, Marvel Cinematic Universe shit. Hey, I want that, or I want that board game, or I want this collectible. You have that, and D&D Beyond is poised to become a $1 billion digital and e-commerce direct business. E-commerce direct does not mean digital, right? That's selling you physical product directly. With over 50 million accounts by 2027. Think about that, folks. Up from 20 million today. Well, we know that there were 10 million in April, 10 million accounts on D&D Beyond, right? 6 months ago. So they're saying that they're kind of splitting it right now, right? That's not going to be a huge split when they start to merge it. Once you're going to be buying your books from Hasbro Pulse and getting your D&D Beyond content, they're going to make it all meld. It'll all be better for you. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying that's the message behind this, right? So, and we'll host new exclusives, including the recently launched Hasbro Selfie Series. I have no effing clue. HasLab crowdfunding products. Remember, why go to Kickstarter? Why go to Indiegogo when you can keep that crowdfunding money a larger percentage for yourself? It's not stupid. All right, they did it with HeroScape. The return of the iconic sports collectibles starting lineup and the relaunch of Avalon Hill's HeroScape gaming system. Okay. Licensing. They don't talk about D&D. Well, I don't want to care about Littlest Pet Shop and Lego, whatever. But here we go on to entertainment. You forget, folks, a lot of people forget that D&D is not just a tabletop RPG, right? It is a brand. It is theoretically where a lot of licensing is going to happen. Investments are set to more than double for Hasbro IP across the company's iconic portfolio of leading toy and game brands. The company announced Peppa Pig, Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Transformers, Play-Doh, Nerf, and iconic gaming brands like Monopoly and Clue as key focus brands. Okay, it's interesting. Companies investing in a brand insights platform to enable database decisions, deliver superior consumer insights, and speed innovation. The platform combines all new technology capabilities, a significant upgrade of its data and an analytics team, and a network of digital direct, experiential, and partner-based data feeds. Okay. Unlocking brand value to drive innovation and growth. Well, hey, the first two things here are Magic the Gathering and D&D. The company announced that Magic the Gathering, which is on track to become its first billion-dollar brand, interesting, has exciting new collaborations with Final Fantasy and Assassin's Creed and a new blockbuster 30th anniversary edition collectible series. Okay. That lets fans experience cards like the iconic Black Lotus for the first time since 1993, the year the brand launched. So if you actually had those collectible cards, I understand are banned in most tournament play. Yeah, they're reprinting them. There you go. Dungeons and Dragons will be a major growth priority. Interesting. These things are getting. Wizards of the Coast is being named 1 and 2, right? 1 and 2, 1 and 2. I don't think they're selling Wizards of the Coast, folks. I know there's people that want that desperately. I don't believe that's the future here. Dungeons and Dragons will be a major growth priority with a blockbuster feature film, D&D Honor Among Thieves, a new AAA video game, Baldur's Gate 3. I didn't know that was coming, but that's awesome. I'll probably buy it and play it. And a host of new collectibles, toys, and games paired with the movie event in 2023. Do you notice something? They're not even worrying about the fucking game in that paragraph. Okay, new collectibles, toys, and games. Do you think that those are going to be board games? Okay, those are, or maybe the relaunch of 1D&D. But it isn't just the game, folks. Dungeons and Dragons is no longer just the game. It hasn't been for a while. It's worth more than a game, far more than the game. The game feeds the monster. That's all it does. All it does. Then they go on to financial outlook, capital allocation priorities, disclosures. Here, disclosures. As Hasbro continues to invest and grow its over $2 billion gaming business. Was that mostly Wizards of the Coast? Sounds like it, right? The company intends to continue to disclose revenue for the full gaming portfolio and will add operating profit. The company also intends to begin reporting revenue associated with any brand that is $1 billion or greater, beginning with Magic the Gathering, which is on track to become its first $1 billion brand. Interesting. And once you start seeing those numbers, you can kind of get other numbers from it. So, folks, they're going to their portfolio about Hasbro, their portfolio of brands, iconic brands. This is the order they are mentioned in. Maybe that's the order that they're actually generating income. I don't know. But remember, generating income isn't just for D&D what's being sold in game stores or through Amazon, or that D&D, it includes the movie licensing, it includes all the licensing for toys and tchotchkes and everything else off that. Magic the Gathering, first thing mentioned. Dungeons and Dragons, second thing mentioned. Hasbro Gaming, Nerf, Transformers, Play-Doh, and Peppa Pig, as well as premier partner brands. So that tells you a lot. Does it tell you everything? Far from it, folks. Far from it. But there's a lot there to digest. There's a lot there to hypothesize about. So, folks, on that note, we are still in the midst of the endemic. So, do your best to, I don't know, Use your common sense. I know it's a hard thing to expect certain people to use common sense. It's out there. Try it. You might like it. Other than that, folks, be safe, be well, God bless. Roll those dice, roll them well. I will be back again tomorrow with Glenn Hallstrom, and that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern. I will be back on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern, with my lovely wife, Rach, for Gamers Health. And then beyond that, we'll get that beyond when we get that beyond. All right, folks. God bless. Laters.